going on inside of my mind, telling me to get a butcher knife up out of the kitchen. Hey, wait a minute, listen.
Hey, remember me? It's Chris from CriticalOutcast.com again. So I'll talk a little something about a little different project that I'm working on. Basically, it's Critical Outcast the movie. Well, not exactly a movie based on the website. That would probably be pretty boring. Anyway, last year I got the bright idea to write a screenplay. I'd watched a few movies that kind of got my creative side flowing a little, if you will. And I quickly jotted down some notes and some ideas that I had, and I even took a day and I got away from the computer and went down by a local river and sat down by the river and basically sketched out a bit of an outline of the story that was floating around in my head. It's something that I think horror fans are really gonna like. If this were to actually get written and beyond that made. It's something that I have a growing passion for, to try to see if I can do it, to prove to myself that I can write. Because if you read my site, I'm not exactly a very good writer, and I'm much less, not even very good at doing something like this. Anyway, well, it kind of sat there for a while. The idea kind of got pushed to the back of my head. It was still there, and I still wanted to do it, but I kept getting distracted by, going to the movies, or writing about movies, or trying to write about movies, or, stuff. Well, the bug is back, if you will, and I am going to try to devote more time to developing the screenplay. And while I'm not exactly going to give you story details, God forbid you actually like the idea and want to, take it and write it for yourself. I figure I will do some updates now and then regarding the status of it, how it's coming along, how I might feel it's working out. Anyway, I pulled up the notes I had written down from last year, and I added a little bit to them the other night. I have a 3-act outline, some broad strokes that happen through those acts. I still have to fill in a lot of the details. I have another few pages of story notes, some key scenes, another sheet of I have my characters, and I have my character names, and a little bit of the description of what the characters are like, or at least some of the events that they're involved in. What I'm doing right now is trying to figure out how to proceed. I've never done this before. Well, that's actually a bit of a lie. I did write a short film in college. It didn't really go anywhere, and I realized I was not very good at writing natural sounding dialogue. Dialogue is a tough mountain to hurdle. Anyway, what I'm hoping to do at this point, I'm trying to figure out if maybe I should write it out as a short story, a few pages, to get a better idea of the story as a whole. Then jump into scripting, or just jump into writing some scenes, because I can see some of it in my head. Maybe I should go off of that and just write the segments and then rearrange them later on. I've downloaded a few screenwriting software tools, some of the free stuff that's out there that I'm going to take a look at, see if I can figure out, because I don't really feel like dropping the money on something like Final Draft, at least not at this point. I have a few friends who have written and made films, so I might, see if I can pick their brains a little bit. Once I come up with maybe the right questions to ask. I'm not sure what to ask yet, but, hey, if you're watching this and you have some tips you want to throw my way, feel free. I'm open to taking ideas. It was suggested that maybe I should try writing a short film first, and, that's really not a bad idea, but this idea that I have, the one I have the notes and everything on, is more of a full feature, and I really don't want to jump past that for fear that I might lose this story, lose the passion for it in my head, and, I kind of like this idea too much to, move away from it, at least at this stage. Maybe if I get a little further in and I hit a roadblock and and another idea comes in for maybe a short that might be a bit more doable, maybe I'll do it. Maybe I'll try that. But at this point, I'm sticking with the feature. Um, if you want some details about it, I'm not going to give you a lot. However, I will say that it has a very old school horror feel. You'll be able to trace its roots into Italian cinema, stuff like Fulci, because it was just something in that vein that really attracts me. I wanted to be set in probably the late 70s, maybe early 80s. I have an idea of where it was set. Actually, a friend of mine had posted some pictures from a visit to Letchworth Village, probably a few months ago. And if you've never heard of that, it's an abandoned mental facility, an insane asylum, and the images of the buildings there have given me some inspiration because they look perfect for where I would want to set my film. So that imagery has given me some ideas. There's going to be elements in it that you're familiar with. It's going to wear its inspirations on its sleeve. It's not going to be terrible. It's wholly original, but I do hope that it will feel fresh. That the elements that people like me recognize that from other films that we already like will help you endear it to you, if you will. If it actually gets made, I'm not thinking far beyond the writing stage, because I actually want to see if I can write it first. If it gets made, it gets made, but that's really the least of my concerns at this point. I want to see that I can actually write something. If it could get made, and if it does get made, hey, great. I'm not going to discount that. I'm just not trying to get ahead of myself here. I want to keep myself a bit reined in. I'm taking my time with this. I don't feel there's anything that I need to rush. One of the things I realized last night that I need to get over is the idea that the first thing I write has to be good. If I think that way, I'm never gonna get anything written. It's not gonna happen, and I'm might as well not waste my time. What I need to do is I need to get past that and actually just write something. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad. Just write the thing down, and then I can beat it into submission and rework it as much as I want. Because again, I have no timetable on this. It's not like it's a work for hire script or something that actually people are actually going to want to film or make. But I can see these images in my head. I can see these sequences in my head from what this movie could be. If it had if I finished it and actually had a budget. It's going to be dark. It's going to be violent. It's going to be creepy. It'll have a good share of gore. It'll be very 70s era. Rough around the edges. I don't want this like Hollywood sheen on it. I don't know. It's just I just have these ideas that actually just I really like, and it's something different for me. It's something related to the stuff that I love, and I just want to see if I can do it. I know you're probably tired right now of hearing me talk about this, but it's I don't know what else to say. I don't know what your thoughts on this are. If you guys have ever written or tried to write a screenplay, if anyone has any ideas, or thoughts on how they did it, sure, drop me a line. I don't know how quick I might get back to you because sometimes I'm bad at replying to messages, but it's something I'm interested in, and I think if I can write this, I can prove that I can do it, and hopefully someone might actually like it. It's I don't know. You know, it's going to be a movie. It's going to have, you know, your mad scientist. It's going to have old school and experimentation on people, torture. There's going to be like a zombie element that you're not really going to see coming. There's, you know, gates of hell. You know, old abandoned mansions, and it's just a lot of elements that you see in a lot of other places that I'm trying to rearrange into something a little different. Or maybe not necessarily different, but bringing a couple of these different things together in a way that will be reminiscent of the films that we love, as well as something new to, you know, like, or at the very least make fun of at its ineptness. I don't care. Whatever it is, I don't want to give up on this screenplay. I've thought about it in the past with different ideas that just, you know, just never really worked out. I never really gave them the time. And I don't want this to happen here. So every once in a while you might see a video of me talking about, you know, where I am, or, you know, where I'm hoping to get to. Again, all I can say is, hey, keep visiting me at CriticalOutcast.com. You know, check out my reviews. See what my thoughts on other films are, because every time I watch a movie, you know, it's just another step in, you know, expanding my own experience, and hopefully my ability to get this movie written. In any case, you know, go ahead and visit me, CriticalOutcast.com. You can also find me over at HorrorSexy.com. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Twitter at CriticalOutcast. Wherever, you know. You want to talk about movies, you like horror, follow me, friend me, you know, whatever. We can talk, okay? In any case, you know, keep an eye out for this movie. I don't have any titles for it yet. That's probably going to come later, although every once in a while do sit down and try to come up with a title, and one of my working titles was City of Nightmares. I don't think that's going to really work too well, but, you know, it has kind of an old school feel to it. Anyways, I'm going to stop, you know, blabbering now and let you get back to whatever it is you really want to spend your time on, because you really want to spend your time watching me. Anyway, until next time, CriticalOutcast.com, HorrorSexy.com, CriticalOutcast on Twitter, wherever. Catch you later.
Strange things going on inside of my mind, telling me to get a butcher knife up out of the kitchen. Hey, wait a minute, listen.